So in case you guys haven't already figured out who you're watching, and you're blind, I'm not quite sure how you got on this video, but anyways, today I'm going to teach you how to learn virtually any skateboard trick fast. So to teach this, I'm going to use fakie big spin as an example because it's going to be really easy to show you guys what I want to show you with this trick. But when I'm learning new tricks, and I recommend this to anyone, that's why I'm making this video, you purposely fail whatever you're trying, and try the harder version of it because it forces you to get that spin, that rotation, that flick, whatever it is. So if I'm trying to learn fakie big spins, which is a backwards rolling 360 shove it body burial, I'll throw the board even harder. So I'll try to spin at 540, I'll try to spin at 720, just so that I know for sure I can have that spin. And once I'm good at getting it all the way around and over rotating it, I can do it slower, I can tune it a bit to spin it not as much. So this is one thing that I did when I was learning fakie big spins. I put my foot so far back that when I shoved it, the momentum just sent it spinning even more than it had to. And that's just so that I had enough rotation, even if it's too much. So let's do a fakie big spin and throw it as hard as I can. Try to get it to turn 540. I never even do fakie big spins anymore, really. They're kind of a basic trick, but I'll show you what I mean. I basically did like fakie bigger flips, but anyways, the board spun 540 there, even though it flipped by accident. I threw it so hard that the trick just over-rotated. So if I put my foot further up the board, or at not so much of an angle, and more straight, it would turn slower and you wouldn't send the board flying so hard. But at least I know I can throw it hard enough and get that rotation around, and it gives me the idea that I just need to find the proper foot placement, and that the trick is possible and I can get that rotation. And because I'm failing this on purpose, I'm kind of just throwing my board around, just to spin it a lot, to show you guys what I'm trying to show you. It's kind of hard to purposely fail. But you can see that it's coming all the way around. If you're learning a new trick, depending how hard it is or what it is, but in general it's a very good idea, at least to most people, not so much me, to have prerequisites. So fakie big spin, like I said, fakie means you're rolling backwards. You spin the board 360 and your body turns 180 all at the same time. So I should at least be able to do a fakie shove it and a half cab going that way. Now I never do fakie shove it's because they're easy and simple, and it's just not a trick I really enjoy doing. It's just too basic for me, and it's not hard to land one. But just to show you guys I have it, and then I'll do half cab this way, the way I throw my fakie big spins. Which surprisingly is kind of a hard trick for me, but I can still do them. So that's 2 in a row. I never even do that trick, but I have what I would call the prerequisites. I can turn my body and ollie that way, and I can throw the board that way while I go fakie. So if you put the two together with an extra spin and turn your body as you throw your board instead of just staying on it, like when I do a half cab, I'm all in and turning my body, so staying on my board. Fakie big spin, your feet come off the board, but you still turn that way. So I have the prerequisites. I'm able to throw it even harder or spin it more than I need to, so I have the prerequisites and I have the ability to get the trick all the way around. Another thing is you can punish yourself. Sometimes you don't want to try a trick, you don't think you can do it, or you just don't commit at all. And you get in your head to the point where you just give up because you don't think you can do it and you're really not trying as hard as you should be. So, another thing I used to do to convince yourself or to train your mind to actually try is to give yourself an ultimatum. Every 5 tries, if you don't do it, you have to do 20 push-ups. Triangle push-ups, which are harder and work your triceps. That way you get a workout, you're skating, and it convinces you that you want to try harder, so you don't have to keep doing hundreds of fucking push-ups the whole time you're trying to trick. So already we have know your prerequisites, be able to form the trick, and do that by doing everything harder than you need to, just to show yourself that you can do it and get that idea in your mind it's possible. And then give yourself an ultimatum or convince yourself to commit, and if you don't, do something so that you further train your mind to keep staying on your board and trying it for real, so that you don't have to do that over and over. It's kind of like a punishment, but it helps you in a way. So already that's 3 things that should help you learn any trick faster. The 4th thing, and I've said this in videos before, is don't try a trick unless you're comfortable right before you pop. There's no point in trying something if you don't think you're going to do it, or half-assing an attempt because you're not going to land it. And your mind isn't conditioned to think, I'm going to land back on my board right here and do this trick. So I'll show you what I mean. I'll come way too fast, put my foot way too far back, throw it. The trick's not going to work at all. It's not going to be confident that I'm going to land it. And I'm just not going to be comfortable. So why even try it? It's a waste. For me, that was not the ideal setup or speed at all, so as soon as I popped, the chances of me even landing that are dramatically less. There's a lot of times where you'll see me in videos roll into the camera, and I either just keep going or don't try because of that reason. My fucking god, fuck! Also, skateboarding is taxing on your body. If you're trying the same thing over and over, you need energy. If you're wasting energy, that doesn't help you. The 5th and final thing, in my opinion, is just to believe yourself and stick at it. It took me 3 years to learn double heel flips. Even longer after that, battling fakie double heel, lots of injuries, just on those 2 tricks alone, and you know, everything else. I really, really want to learn tray flips. I know I have the ability to do it. I've done really sketchy ones, and it's going to take a long time, but I know I can do it. Skateboarding has a big mental aspect, and if you don't train yourself to think and believe in yourself, then there's no point in trying, because again, you're just wasting time and effort. So now I'm going to set up ideally, believe in myself, be confident, and fully try the trick. Let's see if I can do it first try. I never really do fakie big spins. It'll probably take me a couple of times to land one anyways, but I think this is a good example for this video. That wasn't even scripted, but I didn't try it because I didn't feel comfortable. My board was way too angled, rolling toward one direction. I wouldn't have landed that. I'm not going to try it. I was comfortable for my speed. I like my foot position. When I tried the trick, as soon as I popped, I felt like I was going to land it, and I was confident, and I did. That's basically it. The last and final thing to touch on is muscle memory. If you do something over and over and over and over, your body, your mind, is trained to do that. You're used to it. It's not weird to you. If I'm trying to learn double kick flips, if I try a double kick flip 30 times in a row, I don't do it, I'll go back and just do a simple kick flip until I land 2 or 3 in a row. Then I'll try another 20 times, then I'll do a really fast kickflip to give myself a bit of confidence with speed. So going back to the easier tricks and just getting in yourself for whatever trick you're trying is a great idea. So I'm trying double kickflips, it's not working. The most similar trick to a double kickflip would be kickflip. So you come back, you do a couple of those, your feet are used to landing on the board again, you have that flip, and you have that confidence of landing back on your board, then you go back to the harder trick. If you follow all 6 of these steps, in my opinion, any trick you can possibly think of should come easier to you. Everything I explained is about making yourself comfortable, getting yourself ready to do the trick, having your prerequisites, and a couple little strategies and tips to make it easier on you. So I'm going to use a second example and just stick with heel flip. If I'm trying to heel flip, I don't want to eat primo by under flipping it, and I don't want to land on my board upside down. I want to get that flick all the way. And while you can play around with foot placement and angle and going slower so that it's easier to pop and control all that stuff, for me, when I was trying to learn heel flips, I did the same thing. I put my foot a little further back and I would flick harder than I needed to so that it would over rotate and I'd still be above my board and get the idea of it rotating under me. Maybe one time I'd get lucky and under rotate the double flip by accident and land it. Maybe one time I would land it and then roll out. But at least you're making sure it's flipping all the way and that you can get the trick around. And you can apply this to anything. If you're trying to tray flip and this is your foot setup, put your foot more forward and put your foot farther back. It's going to send it flying a lot harder and faster, flipping faster, spinning faster, but at least you'll know that that trick's able to be formed. So I'm going to go in between heel flip and double heel and just try to over rotate one a little bit. That was actually perfect. That was 1.5. If I would have stayed over my board and fully committed, I would have landed like this, and that would have been a 1.5. I perfectly did it just a little bit harder to show myself that, hey, I can get that full flip. That was a good example. I'm happy with that. So you can see that consistently I'm flicking harder than I kind of know I can, but now I have that confidence of, hey, it's flipping. I'm able to get that trick all the way around. Now watch, I'm going to do it with my foot a little further up the board, flick a little less, hoping all my heel flips, and I land. That's one way to snap off the fucking big chunk of your tail. You can see though that time that I stuck it one foot and it only single flip. So doing it double in the beginning was a good step. Don't flick as hard. Foot was further up the board and it only took 2 tries to land. Now the funny thing is, heel flips aren't as easy as they used to be for me, and it usually takes a while to land my first heel flip. Maybe 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15 tries now. And then I can do it. But I believe because I was double flipping it at the beginning, or over rotating it, I knew I had to put my foot further up the board and not flick as hard, and my single flip would come around. It only took 2 tries. That's the first time I've tried heel flips today. So I believe that that step truly works, and to train yourself to get the trick all the way around no matter what. It's been instructional skateboarding. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You should be able to learn any trick faster using these steps. Social media links are down below. As you guys already know, if you subscribe, that number's not going up, everything else is, and I want to see that grow as well. That would be a big thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.